I'm ready.
Ready. All right, let's.
Turn my phone off. Don't need to get my ringtone in the middle of it.
Hey, that would be real life, right?
All right, I see us.
Hey. You're playing?
We're good. We're on.
We are live.
Yay!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Ask Me Anything on Bright Homes Atlanta. I'm Carrie Qualters, and I founded Bright Homes Atlanta, and we are realtors with Keller Williams Realtor Atlanta North. And with me, I have Shane Yan and Rhiannon Deems, and we are going to answer some of your most important and least important questions about real estate today. So we have some questions on tap. I know that you guys have asked by email and social media throughout the week. And if you are following along live and you have a question, we are monitoring that and we'll answer your question live right here. So Rhiannon, what have we got today?
All right. Got some good ones. Let's see here. What if I have to sell my house in order to buy my next one?
Good question. And a lot of people need the equity out of their current home in order to have their down payment on their next home, right? So, and in a really fast market like this, a lot of sellers are not going to accept a contingency on another house selling. There's just plenty of buyers that don't have that contingency, but we do have some other options. One of those is to put less money down, go ahead and buy the house, and then go sell your house and then refinance your new house, and get your bigger down payment. So that's one of our options. Shane, do you want to tell them a little bit about Homeward and how Homeward works? That's been one of the popular products in the last couple of years that we are certified to use.
Yeah, except you're the Homeward expert.
I don't know if I'm an expert. So Homeward is
I learned from you on Homeward.
Homeward is a service that will go and buy your new house cash for you. Then you move into it, pay them rent while you list and sell your current home. Then you go and buy your new home from them. Okay. So it makes the whole process of picking a home easy, making an offer competitively without a contingency. And then so your offer is more competitive on your new home.
It's an all cash offer on your new home.
It's an all cash offer on your new home. They're using cash to buy that house. And so, you're more likely to get that dream home under contract without all these contingencies that you would normally have. Now, to use the service, you do pay a % of the money you're basically borrowing from Homeward. But we can make that process as quick as possible, try to minimize that amount of money. And like anything, that fee is going to make your life easier and help you meet your goals, whereas you might otherwise not even have a chance. So we have found that it's a really good product that helps clients get into those competitive houses. So what else would you say?
I would say another option, some people will just, if they can handle 2 mortgages, buy their new house, and then once they have that under contract and ready to go or purchase, then they go and sell their other house. And you'll have 2 mortgages, but it might only be for a month or 2. And because on your new purchase, your first payment is delayed a month, you might just have 1 month or 2 months of double mortgage payment.
Double mortgage. That's right.
So a lot of people,
some people I have found have been very surprised that they would qualify for both houses, but they absolutely do. With no worries. So that can be a less expensive way to do it.
Mm-hmm. And convenient too, because then you can move in at your convenience.
Right. And then you can show the house without living in it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to make the bed every day and clean up all the dishes every day. It's an easier showing experience. And, we can help people with this is the worst case value you'll get for your home. so that you can do that confidently. You know, we don't want anybody to take on a purchase that puts them in a financial situation that's uncomfortable for them. We
Right.
really work with people and advise them to make sure that they feel really confident and comfortable making whatever move we decide together we're going to help them do.
Right.
All right.
Several options. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question. I like that question.
And it differs
a
based on
common
where you're
question.
selling, where you're moving, what your financial comfort level is, what your logistic comfort level is, and we can help guide people on what options best for them with all those variables.
But it's definitely possible.
You bet.
Happens all the time.
All right, next question. Should I make an offer expecting to negotiate with the seller?
Shane, you make offers for buyers all the time. Are you making lowball offers?
Not in this market right now. Depends on where of course, it always depends on where you're purchasing. But in Metro Atlanta right now, there's not a lot of inventory. So we're seeing multiple offer situations. In a multiple offer situation, there's really no negotiating. Generally you're making the best offer that you can. In fact, you're trying to beat out other multiple offers. But there will, even in that situations, for instance, I always like to give examples in my answers. I had a client that made an offer on a competitive property and was able to win the offer without, we offered full price, no closing costs, whatever, very small due diligence, whatever closing date the seller wanted, we bent over backwards to make them happy. However, when it came up to the inspection, we did negotiate a little bit on the inspection. But we had talked about it during the offer period that we weren't going to, be asking for $10,000 in repairs and get the seller that way.
Yeah.
But there was a little bit of room for negotiating, even on a property that was in high demand. But
most sellers want to convey a house that's in good working condition. Is pretty common. I think in faster markets you hear about, like in California, sellers are never having to make any repairs. Here in Atlanta, sellers still make repairs for defects, things that are not working correctly or are a safety hazard. I think most sellers agree to do something. So that's kind of part of the process and something that we navigate through once you're under contract.
Right.
Now, what if you see a property out there that is grossly overpriced? You look at it, and like, that thing is priced $50,000 too high. That seller is crazy.
We'll talk about it with the seller. Are you gonna have the most expensive house in the neighborhood? Do you want that?
Right.
A house that's not going to appraise if you're taking out a loan? What about resale? What if you lose your job in 3 years or 2 years and you have to sell?
You want to be able to do that.
It depends on the situation, but some clients know what they want. That's what they want. That's their decision, but we'll talk about it.
And most sellers who have something priced that high are uneducated and probably not willing to come down to the right price is what we found. So you can make that offer. Talking the seller into that offer is a whole nother story, but we can try, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right. Or maybe I've had buyers who will see a property and it's priced about right, but it's not necessarily a property they're completely in love with, or it needs some work. And then, you know what, maybe I'll offer 30,000 less and see what, because if I could get it for 370 instead of 400, then it's really a great value for me. So sometimes I'll have someone who's not like, this is the house, I have to have it, but I could make this work if it was a really good price.
If it's not a super hot multiple offer.
If it's not a multiple offer situation. Yeah. Been on the market 90 days because it backs to power lines. But you know what? I didn't want to be near power lines, but if they take off a little bit, then it's the school district I want. Maybe I'll make it work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So sometimes there's definitely negotiation strategies like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
We have time for one more, Rhiannon?
All right, let me see here. When should I apply for approval for a mortgage?
Good question. It's important to call a lender as soon as you're thinking about buying a home. We have had clients that have waited until they're writing an offer and have found that there's been identity fraud on their social. Or remember, we had that one client who had not filed her taxes for the year before. She forgot. So that's going to delay. If we had made an offer and gone under contract, now all of a sudden the lender goes to verify that income and they can't. She has to go file, and the U.S. government has to verify that. I'm sure you can imagine how long that takes, and the seller's not going to wait around. So if there's anything like that in your financial picture, you want to know as early as possible so we can remedy it and have it all taken care of before we make an offer. So I think talking to a lender right away is really important.
And for two other reasons too. One is you want to know what your purchase power is. And so when you make an offer, most sellers want a letter attached, or is a document attached that says who your lender is going to be. The sellers want to know that you have the financing to purchase their house. So
sellers agents often call that lender just to make sure that they really are qualified and that it's not a plate letter,
And during the time of COVID, there are some sellers who want to see a pre-qualification letter that the buyer is qualified before they'll even let them in their house. They want to be qualified.
Yeah, sellers want to, with COVID, sellers want to minimize the amount of people traipsing through their house, and we don't want unnecessary showings. So we make sure that everybody either has the cash or has a lender that's vetted them before they can get going.
And to get a lender, a lot of people think the first thought is, well, I bank with Bank of America, so I'll go there. Maybe I'll get better rates, or I have USAA. Oh, so we'll have a whole other discussion about lenders. But we find that there are smaller lenders, mortgage brokers that we can refer clients to who shop rates at a variety of banks and give personal service to our clients. So we have fantastic relationships with several lenders. So as soon as someone, reaches out to us to purchase a home, we often will say, reach out to this mortgage broker.
Yeah. And the mortgage brokers that we've learned to really like working with over the years, we find that they're really financial advisors. I mean, not certified or anything, but they can guide you on how much money to put down and what is that going to mean. And with rates as low as they are, for a lot of people, putting 20% down is not the right choice. It's very individualized. When rates are really high, you want to put down as much as possible because it's so expensive to borrow money. So thinking through all those things, should we take out of our 401k? You can to buy a house. Is that the best decision for you? Maybe. You got to talk and think through that. And a good mortgage broker is good at helping with those conversations and thoughts.
Yep.
That's what I was going to say, is what Shane already covered, because I have a couple friends in different states that are actually looking to buy a home, and they came to a screeching halt because they had to get pre-approved with a lender before they could even go see a property. So it's really important, especially now. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Definitely.
All right. Does that wrap us up for today, y'all?
Yeah, I think we covered some good ones.
Lending is so important. Lending is the thing that can really hold up or burn your house buying dreams. So using a mortgage broker that has been referred to you by people who've actually used them. The other thing is, these people that we work with all the time, they're not going to get repeat business from us.
Right.
If they don't do a good job with our clients. We are the number one source of business for lenders. And so they have to work hard to make sure they keep our business once we refer a client to them.
Right. Whereas with Bank of America, you're just another file. They don't care about you whatsoever.
They don't make commission, so they don't care about that either. And they only work banking hours, so you can't get them on the weekends. There's a million reasons not to use the big banks. And I would advise, don't use somebody for a service that it's not their core business, right?
That's a good point.
Doing leases is not my core business. So I'm not the one that you want to hire to go find somewhere to rent, because that's not the business I do every day. We do purchases and sales. So USAA is great at insurance. Use them for insurance. Do not use them to get your mortgage. I promise one of our brokers can match their price on VA loans, and regular conventional financing as well.
All loans. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks you guys for tuning in today. And we'll be back next week at 2 o'clock. So text us, email us, DM us your questions in the meantime, and we'll be sure to get to yours next week. So thanks guys. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
I mean, Shane and I both have sweaters on, and Rhiannon has a tank on. Looks like we're obviously in different places. I could use more eye makeup next time. Whatever. I don't care.